All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to continue on our journey evaluating the Insider 2023 recommendations for best dog food. Are they really the best, or is this just some more marketing being put out there to sell you dog food and hoping that you don't realize what we're going to learn today, and that is what is the actual worth of the food. So, last week we did Nature's Logic. You can watch that video, and if you do, you'll see what the score was. I'm not going to spoil that for you in case you haven't watched it. I will link it up here somewhere or here, and yeah, you need to head up and check that out. There's no spoilers here. Okay, so today we are going to do wellness, and so wellness was the other one that they recommended, and it is Wellness Complete Health. Now, I have reviewed wellness foods before. I also can put that video up here. You can check the Wellness Core Puppy out, and the good thing about wellness is on their website, they actually have the complete nutrient analysis for it. All right, wellness for dogs. We want a dry recipe, and we want the green bag. Yes, that one there. Complete Health. All right, so here it is, Complete Health. It is a lamb and barley. And let's see, premium lamb, wholesome grains. Excellent. We want the adult, so we have that there. Let's look at the front of the package. Anything crazy there? Not a whole lot on the front of the package. We're gonna breeze through that so we can get to the meat of it. Let's go to the ingredients. Everything is actually listed here for us nicely, so this should be easy. So ingredients are gonna get 2 points because it's not grain-free and it's not raw. They do have grain-free options. Stay away from those. This particular one is not grain-free, so they get a point for that, and they get a point for it also not being raw. So 2 points there. All right, guaranteed analysis. Now, this is the thing about wellness. The guaranteed analysis is often minimums and maximums. So you can see right here in this central column, it says not less than 24% on the protein. But just because it's not less doesn't mean that it's not more. And so that's why it is important that it's important that you call the company, you take that extra step, and you actually, you actually procure that information. Now, I've done it for you in many of these cases of these videos, but if you're looking into wellness, the really nice thing about it is they do have the complete nutrient profile available in PDF. So we're gonna cheat and we're gonna use that. And so this is a very extensive chart. It's a very nice chart. I will link it, or if you're following through at home, you can see where to click the PDF on the website. What they do is they use the units on a dry matter basis. That's what we need. We don't want it as fed. We want it on a dry matter basis. The food needs to be around 4,000 kcal per kilogram metabolizable energy. We don't want to compare a really nutrient dense food to one that's less, because that's not fair. So it needs to be very close to that or less. And so this one it's 3,972, so very, very, very close, so we can use the numbers that they've provided. In the central column here, they are listing the AAFCO nutrient profile. Now, I've done wellness before, and I did use these numbers that they provided. I will say this, however, these numbers that they provide are kind of the minimums. They're not giving you a range, so they're not giving themselves a whole lot of leeway here. So I am, for the intents and purposes of this video, going to use my chart, which actually gives a range, because it's very hard to be perfect. So I want to be fair here. So we're going to use the range, and then we're going to use the dry matter basis numbers that they have provided here. So for adults, let's pull that up. No, not senior cat. There it is, adult. So we're gonna give them a bit of a buffer, and we're gonna let them have a range here. Now, it's gonna be the easy way to do this. We'll do it like this. All right, so protein based on Small Animal Clinical Nutrition textbook, which is the textbook we use in this channel, and it's a widely accepted textbook, and there's a link to the digital version in the description box if you want to read it and check it out. It's a very long read, but it's there for you. Protein needs to be between 15 and 30. They're saying, for whatever reason, they've picked the number 18. I don't know why they've randomly picked the number 18, but we're going to give them a little bit of a buffer, and we're going to say 15 to 30. They are at, so you can see as fed was 24.9. That's what was listed on the guaranteed analysis. But the actual dry matter basis is 26.29 on the protein. And so that's fine. Needs to be between 15 and 30. So that's perfectly fine at 26%. The fat, they're saying 5. We're going to give them a buffer, and we're going to say between 10 and 20. I honestly don't know where they're getting that number from. I'm not sure. Maybe I can check a different reference just to make sure. Let's do that really quick. I actually have the chart that I clipped, screenshot clipped from the clinical nutrition. So let's pull that up. Yeah, I don't know where they're getting that number. I don't know where wellness is even getting this number 5 for fat. That's incorrect. So I'm glad we're looking into this. Let's pull up this back up. I like this chart better. This one is a good chart, and it's the newest one. The numbers are the same, but it's just my chart is a little bit easier and a little bit more contrasty. Okay, so anywho, 5.5, that's not correct. It needs to actually be between 10 and 20, and they're at 13, so we are fine there. Then we're gonna go down here to the minerals. They're saying calcium needs to be at 0.5. That's true, that is the lower end of the reference range. I do prefer it to be at that lower end of the reference range, but a little bit of grace period, they can go up to 1. But they are including it up to 1.98. So excess on calcium. Phosphorus 0.48. They're saying 0.4 again. They're recommending the low end. Yeah, that's true. It should be the low end, but they are over supplementing at 1.28. Fiber. Here it is. Fiber, they're not listing the AAFCO standards. It's less than 5, and they're at 4.14. So they get that number. They get that point there. So they get a point for the protein. They were good on protein. They get a point for the fiber, and they get a point for the fat. So 3 points there. They lose on the calcium and the phosphorus. Now, the calcium and the phosphorus seems to be a tricky thing for companies to get right. And I'm not big into, or I'm not, familiar enough with the pet food industry to know why that is. But if you guys check out Glenn on his channel, and I'll link it down below, he talks a lot about why that is. And he's from the pet food industry, so he kind of knows the ins and outs about that and some of like the insider secrets on that. And what he says is the reason why the calcium and phosphorus tends to be a little bit excessive in some of these companies is they just don't take the time to properly process the meats and things like that. So, when they debone the chicken and stuff like that, they're just kind of just doing like quick and dirty, and a lot of that calcium and bone and stuff is getting in there, and they're not taking the time to filter that out. So that's why the calcium and the phosphorus is elevated in a lot of these these companies. Or maybe they just, maybe they don't think that it's important to you, or you guys, they know that they've conditioned us to like focus on the fat and the protein. People always, come to my office and they say, I feed a 10, 20, whatever. Honestly, that doesn't mean anything. It's about balance, about everything balancing. And so, I think that they don't put a lot of emphasis on the calcium and phosphorus because they don't think you guys think that it's important, but it is important. And we as veterinarians want you to know it's important, because excess calcium and phosphorus is going to be hard on your pet's kidneys. It's going to be, kidney disease, especially in cats, is, a leading cause of us losing them, because once a pet's in kidney disease, there's no cure. It's a management situation. And so I don't want to see that happen to you. So I do want you guys to pay attention to the calcium and phosphorus. And in this particular case, it was way excess. We're not just a little bit excess, we're extremely excess. So they only get 3 points there on the guaranteed analysis. Let's see, what else did we need to look at here with these guys? Let's find the AAFCO statement, because we want it to be spot on for our pet. We don't want it to be all life stages. We want it to be appropriate for our pet's life stage. So let's see if we can't find that somewhere. Wellness Complete Health Adult Lamb and Barley Recipe Dog Food is formulated, so they don't get a point there. They didn't feeding trial it. Maybe if they did, they would have known that the calcium and phosphorus was inappropriate to meet the nutritional levels for maintenance. So they get 1 point there. It is the appropriate life stage. When they say for maintenance, they mean for maintenance of adults. So they get 1 point there. They don't get the point for the feeding trials. So only 1 point there. So they've got, we'll tally it up at the end. Let's move on to the feeding guidelines and see if they're recommending the appropriate calories here. Okay, so let's get into the feeding guides and see if we get any points here. So 18 to 23, weight of the dog in pounds. We're gonna pull up our chart. So 18 to 23, 18 pounds, we need 339. 23, it's not exactly listed. We're just gonna say 20. So somewhere between 340 and 366 is kind of where we wanna be. 1 1/4 cups at 417. It's already gonna be over. 521 kcals. I'm just gonna double check it just to be, totally fair that my math is correct. Yeah, 625. So no point there. It's too much. It's too much. So let's tally up the points for wellness complete. We've wellness complete adult. So we've got 3 points for the guaranteed analysis, 1 point for the AAFCO statement because it was the correct life stage, but it wasn't feeding trial. They get 2 points for the ingredient list because it wasn't grain-free or raw, and they didn't get any points for the feeding guide. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6. Again, I don't know how this is an insider top pick. A 6, we've certainly reviewed foods that are higher than a 6. 6, if we're going based on like a grading scale, a 6 out of 10 isn't passing. So, and that was even giving them leeway because the list of the AAFCO statement stuff, they were in way excess of what they're saying it should be. So it's like they know that they're doing it, but they're doing it anyway. Like, why are they doing that? So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we're going to continue on this journey. We've got 1 more food to review. Next week will be Merrick, and hopefully I can get the information because I've been back and forth with them, and they said the information that we need as far as exacts is a different department, and they don't have the information, so it's not looking good for them. But no spoilers. When I get that information, we'll have that video, and it will be hopefully up next week. If not, yeah, that'll be an interesting analysis. So like, subscribe, and you will get to see the rest in this series of evaluating the 2023 Insider Best Dog Food Recommendations. All right, guys, I will catch you guys next time, and have a great day.